Welcome to Legacy Unscripted, sponsored by Progeny Coaching. This is the podcast where sports and business collide. I'm your host, Russ Katzman, and here we'll skip the fluff and get straight to the hustle. From athletes turned entrepreneurs to impact-driven business leaders, we dive into the wins, the lessons, and some of those losses that make our legacies worth living. Today, I'm happy to welcome John Zeglinski, Zig, to his friends and family, CEO of SAFR Sports. John, thanks for joining us.
Thank you, Russ. I guess I'd start off with what SAFR stands for. It's SAFR, and it stands for Scientifically Advanced Force Reduction. And what we make is a soft shell to the top of the football helmet, a helmet cover that looks just like the helmet that you wear in games, reduces force and makes the game safer.
Love it. So where's the passion for building that? Where did that come from for you?
Well, I played high school and college. I played at Wake Forest University, played football and baseball there. I got approached about 7 years ago by the former company about this product, and I love football. My kid had 3 boys; they all played football.
Yep.
And so I got involved as a consultant initially, then eventually got more and more involved, and eventually I put together a group. We bought all the assets and the patents, and we started SAFR in 2021. And first thing we did is we tested at Virginia Tech. I don't know if you're aware, have been testing helmets since 2011. When I originally got involved in 2017, we had Penn State testing, where they did 2 years of testing on the field, where it reduced force by as much as 72%. They have just concussive hits and subconcussive hits. 25 to 80 G is considered subconcussive. Above 80 is considered concussive. And it reduced the concussive hits by 72% and the subconcussive by 47%. So that's how I originally got involved in the product. So then when we bought the assets, we took over the company, started SAFR, went to Virginia Tech, and they have a 5-star system where they rank helmets. Anything under a 10, they have an algorithm they use that based on frequency of hits and location. And they rank the helmets up to 5 stars. 5 stars, anything under a 10. So I bought the 3 most popular helmets there. We tested helmets first, then we put our covers on. And we bought the helmets. We were all 5-star helmets, all scored in the 4s by themselves. We put our product on, they went in the 1s. So they were very happy with that, Virginia Tech. And they also have a risk of concussion score. And not to give you all the data, but the most pertinent is we reduced the risk of concussions by as much as 77% versus the helmet alone, according to their scoring. Fortunately, the next day, they called us up and ordered 130 of them. And they've been wearing them ever since, Virginia Tech. And they test football, lacrosse, hockey. They test everything. So they're a good housekeeping seal of helmet testing. So then after we ran with that for a couple of years, our medical team, we have a board with a neurological surgeon and an orthopedic one, and they said, well, you have the accelerometer testing at Penn State, and you have biomechanical in Virginia Tech. You need on the field data. So this past season, we went to Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, and we had 2 groups. One group wore a product, the other didn't. And the group that wore a product reduced concussions by 48%. We worked with HM Healthcare. They fed us all the data. So they had 2023 data and 2024 data. So reduced concussions, the teams that wore a product by 48%. Teams that didn't wear it went up 34%. Now, obviously, concussions are arbitrary. They go up and down each year. Who knows? But the fact that it's the same league, they played each other, and teams that wore it went down 48, and the teams that didn't went up 34. That's pretty significant. So we're happy with that. And now we're after trying to sell a product now,
No, this is great. And I've been out to the website. That the interesting thing, people think about these this extra protection for concussions. They think about what they see in the NFL with the big puffy, white thing. You go onto your website, and honestly, Zig, these things look just like regular helmets.
Yeah, they're all helmet specific, and we match the color and design of the helmet. If it's a Rydell it's a Rydell Speed Flex medium. Our shell's a medium. The one thing I also want to point out that I stress this to people, we've talked with the Concussion Legacy Foundation now at Boston U, and they had 376 brains donated by former NFL players, and they passed away. And of those 376, 93% had CTE. Okay, it's a huge number, right? Well, as a lay person, you think CTs is in the NFL. And guess what? That CT didn't start there. It started in youth ball, high school, college. And to further demonstrate that point, when Penn State did their testing on our product, they did virtual reality testing pre and post season. and you want a room, you identify the room, then you have to see the same thing. Interesting, the guys who were concussed, who sat out 2 or 3 games, their scores are very similar at the end of the year because their brain rested. The guys who
Mm.
played all year, no injuries, their scores are lower. So it kind of validates the whole point that subconcussive blows are a real thing and does affect your brain. So you need to protect it. So us reducing concussions is a byproduct of us reducing force. And that's the most important. Reduce force, you make the player safer, not just today, but a safer brain in the future. So,
No, I love that. So I like the business model. I like what you're doing with it. Talk to me about the entrepreneurial side of this a little bit. What did you have to learn when you took on the business?
well, learn a lot about concussions and about head trauma,
Yeah.
obviously, and about how our product's made. It's a polyurethane product. It's made in the United States and painted here as well, Michigan. Both are done here. We have 2 different vendors to do that. Uh, I've been in business myself for years in the promotional products business. So I've been in my own since I was 28 years old. I've had my own business. So that part of it I understood, but there was a lot more as far as medical terms, the science part of it, the science and the concussion, subconcussive blows, what's the cause of a subconcussive blow, what it is. So yeah, so that's why more than anything else, and trying to scale it. It's pretty obvious what the success Guardian has. There's 2
Yep.
Guardian products. Number one, there's a Guardian product they sell to youth in high school, and there's one they sell in college. There's one they sell to the NFL. The NFL model is much bigger. And when we
Yep.
tested, when we tested against Guardian, the XT, which is the one they have that's for youth in high school and college, for most colleges anyway, at Virginia Tech, we brought that with us and tested it. And the hardest hit on the back of the helmet alone was a 60% chance of a concussion. The Guardian was 50, and we were 8.7% chance of concussion. So a pretty
Wow.
significant difference. And we're game day ready. Like our big thing is we make the game safe, plus we're game day ready. And that test that we did in Virginia, in Mecklenburg County, North Carolina, 65% of concussions were in games. Because you kind of control practice somewhat. You control hitting a little bit. There's still that subconcussive blow. When you block the defensive end, you're a running back. That's a subconcussive blow. When you hit defensive tackle, they're always going to be there. But
Yep.
they control practice to a degree as far as the concussive hits go. But like I said, 65% of the concussions in our study happen in games.
Hmm. Well, I mean, the difference between practice and games is significant from a effort and speed and everything else that goes into it.
We
So,
always said the live bullets are in games. The live bullets are in games. Yeah.
yeah, that's very true. So talk to me a little bit, the business itself. One of the things, and you've been in the CPG space, so you understand it a little bit, but the tough part about something like this is the education of the market, right? You came
Yeah.
in, the first thing you had to do is learn all the science behind it, learn all of that, be able to talk to it. But how do you get that in terms that the average Joe purchasing for their high school, athletic program, et cetera, gets to this information, understands it to the point of where it makes a difference in the budget?
Well, we do a lot of obviously social media, and we do,
Hmm.
FaceTime ads, so forth, connected TV. But you do have to educate because it's people don't understand. Like the helmet manufacturers, they've controlled this industry for years, and now introducing an add-on is a new thing for them, obviously, because they
Hmm.
make 2/3 of their revenue, believe it or not, from reconditioning helmets. So painting it. So if you wear our product, you don't have to paint your helmet, so actually save on reconditioning. So
Yeah.
if you imagine there's some pushback from them because of that. It's a big revenue for them, obviously. You know, what we do is I try to go through our testing journey. Like I said, we'd be testing at Penn State originally, then Virginia Tech, and then on the field. So, as one of our docs would say, Dr. Tom Ferring, who played at Wake with me, what else do we have to test? I mean, we kind of hit every marker,
Yeah.
in the lab, on the field, so it's about education now, and people are getting more and more interested in because football is under attack for a lot of people don't let their kids play now because of the possibility of head injury.
Yep. Now, what are you hearing in the market specifically because of this relative to alternatives to football, right? We got flag football and some of those others that parents that would rather have their kids play European football or soccer,
I hear you.
on the pitch instead.
Well,
What are you hearing?
we take if we can make the game safer, the game keep thriving, and that's
Hmm.
the whole point. We're trying to make the game safer. We want every kid to have something on their head, and then Guardian reduces some force as well. So we're trying to get people to understand that the helmet is not enough. The idea of our product is we capture the energy before it hits the hard shell. We dissipate and force, It's actually spring loaded, so it moves in contact a little bit.
Mm.
So it's all about dissipating and reducing force. And people, once they get educated on it, and kids like it, they get used to it. It takes about a day or two to get used to it. It weighs about just under a pound, so it's not, and they like it. They feel different when they play with it. So the educational piece, we usually take people through our testing journey, and let them see what it is.
Now, do you find, and I don't know if you've done any studies on it, but just out of curiosity, are the kids hitting differently when they have that? Are they a little more reckless? Are they a little more loose because they're not concerned about the
That
CTE or
that
the damage to the head?
every once in a while, a coach will bring that up. Then they'll say that, oh, they're going to hit the hip, but that's what you're teaching technique for it. Whether you're playing our shell or not, there's going to be inadvertent hits to the head no matter what. You can't take, as much you try to take the head of the game. I'd rather have the kid wear it and then worry about him using his head more. Because if he uses his head, you're going to tell him he's using his head. Don't do it.
Yeah.
But there's so many inadvertent hits where you bang your head on the ground, somebody knee hits you in the head. There's so many ways that things could happen, but when you're trying to take your head out of the game, it still happens though.
Yep. Gotcha. Sorry, I gotta pause for a minute. I literally just had a coyote walk through my backyard. I've got
Seriously?
windows onto my backyard, yeah. And he just came trotting up here. My wife wants to get something for the cats so they can be outdoor cats and, one of those screened-in
Right.
things for the cats. And this is why I said no, right? Because I've seen him when I've been out walking. And sure enough, I look up. Now, we've got bunny rabbits that run through our backyard and stuff
Right.
all the time. They were going nuts yesterday. And I haven't seen them at all today. And I
That's
think
probably
that's
why.
part of it because I looked up and I just saw this coyote just trotting through my backyard. He tried to go down this way. Well, I've got a fence this way. So he came out this way and walked back and around. I'm like, oh. I wonder if my wife saw him. If she did, she'll freak out about it. But anyway, all right. And I'll have the guys cut that out of the video so people don't have to hear that. All right. So let's talk about the business side of this a little bit more.
Okay.
Because the interesting part of your journey, to your point, is that you've been that entrepreneur before. Contrast this business and some of the challenges you've had here versus some of the other ones that you've worked with.
Well, this is a much bigger scale, obviously, because it's a national product. My promotional products company is locally. I deal with schools and individuals. And my family runs that now. But this is it's been a challenge because of the pushback from the industry, from fan helmet manufacturers. Can you pull off 1 second? I got to get rid of this call.
Sure.
Hey, Jen, how are you? Can I call you back in 2 minutes or 5-10 minutes? I'm on a Zoom on a podcast. I'll call you back. All right. Bye-bye. Sorry about that. My PR company, actually. Yeah. It's different. It's more challenging. I had to raise money. I knew about raise money to get to make this doesn't happen overnight. I had to raise money, but a significant amount of money, to launch the product and to buy the other company, buy out the other company, buy the loan, So yeah, it's been different. It's my background's always been sales. Obviously, I run my own company. I was a very small company, a few employees, so I've been in sales. But this is a little different. I wear different hats, a lot more hats now. With the advertising, with this, just everything. You have to be on top of everything. So it's been fun. It's been a great journey, and we're getting there. We're getting very close to turn the corner. It's been a tough road, but I've been doing this for almost 9 years now. I guess, yeah, 9 years. So it's been a while.
So which was the first of those hats that you wanted to get rid of, that you had to find somebody to take off your head because you just didn't want to be in that role anymore?
Well, we have a CFO, obviously. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the one. He handles all that. So that role is the one, pretty much. The other, I'm involved in everything else pretty much. Somewhere. My hands are in somewhere, whether it be advertising, whether it be social media stuff or sales. So yeah. So we're still a small company. We're growing. We're still a small company, but we have an awesome product. I mean, you talked a little bit about flag football and how the games change. Football is such a great game. Teach you accountability, teach you teamwork, all those things. Yeah. And I played football and baseball at Wake Forest. And I love baseball and I love football. People always ask what's the difference. Well, football, there's no better feeling than winning a football game. I'm just saying, you do it together. It's such a team game. And baseball's great too. Don't get me wrong. I love baseball, but football is just a different animal. And it's a great feeling when they win together. And I think having kids experience that, I think is important. I think it's part of, that whole teaches so many life lessons, accountability, just so many things you have to do, discipline, you have to be
Yeah.
disciplined. Certain, you have certain areas you have to cover. It's a great game.
I just have to laugh because we never won a football game when I was in high school. I never won a varsity football game. We literally went 0-29 in my 3+ years on varsity. So this is what it is. Not
Would
that
you
I
say it was a good experience or a bad experience?
no, it was a good character building
There
experience,
you
as they
go.
say
There you
about
go.
losses,
Yeah, teach
right?
how to overcome adversity, right? Teach
That's
how
what
to.
losses are about. They're about character building.
That's
Um,
right. Right. Yeah.
no, you mentioned the CFO and that kind of stuff, and you mentioned the investing or finding investors to help you purchase this company. A lot of times when people become entrepreneurs, they do it because uh, maybe they don't want a boss anymore. Maybe they don't want to be told what to do. Maybe they want the freedom to be able to do what they feel they enjoy and want to do. Um, what they don't realize is when they get out there and start involving investors, suddenly you've got somebody else who has a stake in what you're doing.
Yeah.
And you lose some of that freedom.
In
Talk to
my
me about what
situation,
happened when you brought them in.
exactly right. I was my own boss. So I was 28, right? I'm 68 years
Yep.
old now, and now I'm responsible for other people's money. It's a big deal, and I take it very seriously. You know what I mean?
Yep.
I'm responsible for their money. So we have a great board. A very strong board, and I have some great mentors. To talk to about this, and a lot of people confide in, about making decisions, and you don't do it alone. You need a team. And that, we put together a pretty good team. So I'm excited about what people we have working with us.
Good. I like it. So how has that changed your path to growth then? You may have seen it going like this. They may have seen it more like a hockey stick. What
Yeah.
did you see in versus the investors, and how do you kind of come to terms with that?
Well, you never grow as fast as you want to grow,
Yeah.
and the industry we're in, because of the manufacturers and they've been into this for so long, they've been pushing back not just on us, on Guardian. It took Guardian, I think it
Sure.
took 12 years to get the NFL. So it doesn't happen overnight, Uh, and the investors want it to happen tomorrow, but it's a process. We have to keep on getting out there, and you need bandwidth, you need distribution, and that's all things we're working on. We're getting. We're doing a program right now, Philadelphia, called, because we're right here, based outside Philly. It's called "We
Mm.
Make Philadelphia Football Safer." We're doing a campaign where it's be sponsorship and us putting towards it as well to outfit at least every high school kid in Philadelphia with a Schaefer cover. We have
I like
numbers
that.
for them already, but not everyone. And everyone can afford it. So we're trying to get everybody to wear a cover and make it like a community get together. We do it as a group and make the whole city safer. So we're excited about that. In fact, yeah. And
Gotcha.
we'll have a spokesperson from the Eagles, probably some former Eagle will be a spokesperson. We're very close for one right now, so he's gonna come on board. So that'll be like you'll probably hear more about it because we're gonna try to launch this pretty big. Yeah.
No, that's great. And so, along with that, what are some of those markets, some of those individuals that you're trying to get into? Somebody that if they heard this podcast, you want them to pick up the phone and call you. Who are you trying to reach right now?
Well, we're reaching, obviously the major firms in Philly. There's Sunoco. We're meeting with them. There's Chicky and Pete's, which is a large sports bar.
Hmm.
Pete, I know some of these people already. Anyone, we're going to run a rewards program. If you make a donation, you get rewards, online to help make a kid safer, make a donation. And you help kids be safe. You buy a shell for a kid and you'll get online, you'll have rewards you get, whether it be, buy one, get one or a discount or
Yeah.
something. So for your donation, you'll get something for that. The whole thing, this might sound a little corny, but I got involved with this because of the mission. I want to make the game safer,
Yeah.
and now it's my life here. And we're trying to make the game safe. We're passionate about, not just me, the whole team. Our whole team's passionate about making the game safer. And obviously it's a business and you have responsibilities and you have to make profit. But the backbone of what we're doing is let's make the game safer. We love the game. Let's make it safer.
Well, I think that's where many businesses go wrong. They start with this mission and then they get hung up in the business side of trying to make it happen and they lose track of what the mission was. All right. Sometimes,
It's hard to stay focused.
yeah,
That's a good point. It's hard to stay focused. We keep on talking about, let's get back to the mission. Let's get back to
yeah,
why we're doing this, because that's, if you have enough passion for something, usually you can be successful, so,
yeah.
and we have like I said, we have a great team here that's really passionate about what we're doing.
Well, it's funny. I always use when I'm working with my clients, I always use the football analogy relative to setting that vision and setting those goalposts, right? And I use the old, Jim Marshall or Wrong Way Reese or any of those
Yeah,
guys
yeah,
that ran the wrong way on the football field
yeah,
and scored in the other end zone. As I, if you don't make it clear for everybody in the organization where those goalposts are and what you're shooting for,
yeah,
you end up, I can help you go faster as an organization, but you're going to get the wrong direction.
yeah.
Right. We need to know where those goalposts are. We need to know, and we need to constantly remind the organization what it is that we're shooting for,
Mhm.
and why we exist as an organization.
Right.
So I
No,
like that.
absolutely.
So give me your number one message for yourself, number one lesson that you got out of specifically working with investors.
Well, I take it very seriously. When I'm
Hmm.
asking someone to invest in our company, in our mission, basically, I'm asking to invest in our mission. People are very receptive to that mission because people that love football. They know the game safer. Once we go through all the data and what we have, it's fairly obvious. It's very obvious that our product works. We had so much
Yep.
testing behind it. It works. Now we just got to get the message out there, right? So, but when someone does invest in our company, I take it very seriously, and I'm the, I guess you call I'm the guy to take care of their money and make sure we do it the best we can to make it worth their while. And that's what we're trying to do. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. What about talk to me a little bit about the customers or the people that you work with, that you talk to. You're in sales, you talk to them day in and day out.
That's a good
Um,
question. We have a number of salesmen, obviously, in our staff who
yeah.
do the day-to-day stuff, but there's different levels. At the youth level, when you're selling the youth level, it's typically you're selling to a board of an organization and they're making
Hmm.
this decision. High school, it's more than likely the AD and the athletic training department, and sometimes a coach. Some coaches have more clout than others, and they make the decision or they
Hmm.
recommend it and it gets it done. But most likely, it's the budget and the AD can they afford it.
Yep.
And then at the college level, and mostly, even if the coach likes it, he depends on his athletic training staff and the doctors. Because get into college, which I point this out to people all the time, is you have to go through compliance, legal. So they
Hmm.
really vet you out. So when a high school questions let's have this kind of question. I says, we're in all these colleges. You don't get in there unless they're really vetting you out. And you know, and we've had a great. What's what I want to say. We've had a great response from colleges on our product and the high schools as well. Yeah.
Gotcha. And what are they? Uh, are they curious about durability? Are they curious about how long it's going to last? Are they questioning price? What's the number one challenge you're getting from them right now?
Uh, the biggest thing I would think, depending on the level, all right, not the college
Hmm.
level, but the other level, is pricing. Can they afford it? Is in their budget this year. We have payment plans that we work out for people. Like
Sure.
I said, the mission is about getting on as many heads as we can. So we work things out for people as far as payment plans. Uh, yeah, that's probably the biggest thing. As far as durability, I got a testimonial from a customer that I sold in 2017. Is just now ordering more. So so he wore it for a youth program, wore for like 7 years. You
Yeah.
know, we have a 1 year warranty. Obviously, we say it lasts 3 or 4 years. The memory always works. It's the springs by taking them on and off too much. So if you leave them on, they last longer because you're not taking them on and off too much.
Right.
Some, and like at the college game they get beat up a little bit sometimes, so we have to replace those. But high school and youth, they last. We say 3 to 4 years. Mhm.
Gotcha. All right. Very good. So looking forward, where are you going next? Obviously, you want to get the market saturated as you can, but are you looking at other products? Are you looking at
Yeah, our patents
other
cover
parallel
and
sports?
our patents cover any helmeted sport. So we'll
Okay.
probably go into hockey next. I mean, there's
Nice.
hockey, there's equestrian, there's winter sports. There's biking. You know,
Yep.
um, there's a lot of opportunities for us there. But if we can proof of efficacy in football, I think the others will be much easier. The transition will be much easier in those sports because football's everybody sees football. And
Okay.
yeah, so
Now, I don't want you to give away too much publicly, but are you guys looking to build this to a point and then go for a sale? Are you looking to get to a licensing with a major manufacturer? Have you thought
all
about some of that
all
stuff?
the above. We
All of the
want
above.
we want to make the game safer. That's what we want to do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
And I think either any or all of those scenarios would help you achieve the mission, as long as you
Yep,
find a partner or a purchaser
for
that's
sure.
in line
Yeah,
with that
yeah,
mission.
yep.
Got it. Well, last big question for you, John. What are some of those lessons? What are the things that you would talk to? You mentioned 28. What are the things that you tell your 28-year-old self that that you know today that you probably didn't know back then?
That's a good question. There's always going to be obstacles to overcome. It's never easy. You don't get there without hard work. And
Yep.
I realized that at a young age, but that's basically you have to work, and it takes a lot of anybody that's successful. It works, it doesn't come overnight, and you have to work for it. Stay consistent and persistent, and just
Yeah.
do the best you can, and always have integrity in what you do. Always have integrity in what you do, and that's what I think that's probably the most important lesson I've learned over the years. It's got to be honest and be trustworthy for people, because people, when you have to sell any product, they're buying you first.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
there's a trust factor there. So I think that's it. Now, going what we're doing now. I mean, now my mantra is that we know we make the game safer. I just want people to find out that this product's out there, because it does change. It can change the game. I mean, think about, you know, on 48% less concussions, and then think about the Penn State subconcussive blows that every play. It's really CT didn't start in the NFL. It started when they were kids in high school.
Yep.
This stuff we didn't know growing up. I didn't know that. You didn't know that. We didn't know any of this stuff. But now you're
Yeah.
learning that there is an effect on playing. It's a great game. Nobody wants to stop playing, so let's play as safe as we can. Right?
Yep.
So.
And I didn't think anything about the fact that we started at 6, 7, 8 years old, and
Yeah.
and you just didn't even think about it. Or even us kids that would play out and play recess in the schoolyard, and tackle football or smuckum
Pads
football,
on.
where you
Yeah.
just
Pads on.
whoever's got the football, you just
We just
smash
played.
the
Yeah.
one out of them.
Exactly. Nobody thought about
Yeah.
head trauma. Yeah.
No, we didn't even have helmets at that point. And
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure a few of us got concussions during that. I was never the
Yeah.
biggest, so I got quite a few over the years.
Yeah.
All right, very good. I love it. So, anything that we haven't talked about, anything you want to throw out there, Zig, that pops in your head? Give us the website, and we'll make sure to get it in the show notes. But
Yeah, just
what else is out there?
SAFRsports.com, SAFR, SAFRsports.com. That's it. We just want to make the game safer. That's what we're doing, and that's what we're really working hard to do. And the more people find out about us with things like this, the better. Because once they look into it, they'll understand that this is a great product. And it's game day ready. You said you saw it online. You can't even tell. I mean,
Sure.
I've been in demonstrations and meetings where I'd be talking about it, and they didn't know it was on the helmet that was sitting right there. They can't even tell. So that's a great feeling when that happens. That means we have a product that is very adapts to the game very well. It looks like the helmet. So people, aesthetics are important. Aesthetics are important to people, and we definitely have a great looking product, and it works.
Yes, you do. I love the fact that we can help you get the message out there even just a little bit. So Thanks for joining us today, Zig. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Russ. Appreciate it. All right, take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
So that's a wrap for this episode of Legacy Unscripted. If today's conversation sparked something in you, don't just let it sit. Take action today to build your future. Make sure to subscribe, leave a review, and share this with someone who may need to hear it. And if you've got a story to share or you just want to connect, you know where to find me. Till next time, keep it real, keep it bold, and keep living your legacy.